What if just being yourself is actually your favorite excuse for not growing? Think about it. How many times have you said, "This is just who I am," when deep down you knew you could do better? What if being yourself is just a comfortable mask that is actually stopping you from becoming who you really want to be? What we call authenticity sometimes is just stagnation dressed up nicely. In this video, I'm going to show you why being yourself can be a toxic idea, and more importantly, how to become the person you truly want to be. Part 1. The problem with being yourself. Since we were kids, we've been told one thing over and over: be yourself. Don't change for anyone. You're perfect just the way you are. Sounds beautiful, right? Like a golden rule for happiness and freedom. But here's the problem. Have you ever stopped to really ask yourself this? Do you actually want to stay exactly who you are right now? Take a moment and be honest with yourself. Because if you're watching this video, chances are there's something in you, some part of your life or personality, that you'd love to improve or change. Maybe you want to be more confident. Maybe you want to stop procrastinating. Maybe you want to have deeper relationships or be more successful at work. If that's true, then this be yourself advice starts to feel less helpful and maybe even a little dangerous. Why? Because when you hear be yourself, you naturally think it means, I have to keep my current self exactly as it is. Your current self includes your fears, your doubts, your habits, even the ones that secretly hold you back. And that's where the trap lies, the trap of frozen authenticity. Let me explain something crucial. Authenticity itself is not the enemy. Being authentic means living in alignment with your true values and feelings. That's powerful. That's necessary. But here's the catch. There's a difference between being authentic and being stuck in your current version of yourself. I call this frozen authenticity. It's like a photo frame around your identity, keeping you locked in place. And it whispers things like, I'm not a morning person. I'm just not sociable. I'm not made for this. You hear those voices and you think, well, that's just who I am. But that's not a fact. Those are mental habits, learned beliefs that can be changed. Why we fall into this trap? Why is it so hard to move beyond our current self? Because our brains love familiarity. They want to keep us safe and comfortable, even if it means staying stuck. Changing feels risky. Changing feels like being fake, like betraying yourself. And society often tells us, just be yourself, reinforcing the idea that you shouldn't try new things or change who you are. But the truth is, real growth means discomfort. It means being willing to face uncertainty and sometimes feel awkward or not yourself. That's how we evolve. Don't be a slave to your current identity. So when you hear be yourself, I want you to think deeper. Be yourself, but the best version of who you want to be, not who you are right now. Be authentic, but allow your authenticity to expand and grow. Honor your core values, but don't mistake your current habits or limitations for your full identity. You are a work in progress, not a finished product. Your future self is waiting for you to give it permission to emerge. And it won't come by staying stuck in your comfort zone. Quick exercise to start shifting right now. Think about one belief you have that sounds like, I'm just not good at. I'm not the kind of person who, I can't because I'm. Write it down. Now ask yourself, is this really a fact or just a story I've been telling myself? Try to imagine what your life would look like if you dropped that belief. How would you act differently? Be yourself is good advice, but only if your self is flexible and growing. Staying rigid in your current identity keeps you stuck. Growth means being willing to experiment, fail, and not feel like your old self for a while. Your true self is a moving target, a constantly evolving, expanding version of who you are. Part 2. When being yourself almost killed their careers. Michael Jordan. The rejection that sparked greatness. Before he became a legend, Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team. Think about that. The greatest basketball player ever rejected. At that moment, he could have said, I'm just not made for this. This isn't me. But he rejected that version of himself. He worked every single day to redefine what being himself really meant. The lesson? Sometimes your authentic self just doesn't have the skills yet, but it can develop them. Oprah Winfrey. Too emotional to succeed? Oprah was fired from her first TV job because she was considered too emotional. If she had stuck to being herself, she might have quit. Instead, she turned her emotions into a strength while evolving into a stronger, more aligned version of her future self. She didn't just be herself. She transformed to reach her vision. Sara Blakely. The Power of Persistence. Before becoming a billionaire with Spanx, Sara Blakely faced over 100 investor rejections. She had zero business experience, no technical skills, but she reinvented herself every day. She played the role she wasn't yet until she fully owned it. Part 3. Carol Dweck and the Power of the Growth Mindset. Carol Dweck, a psychology professor at Stanford, spent decades studying what sets thriving people apart from those who stay stuck. Her discovery? It's simple but game-changing. It's not intelligence. It's not talent. It's not even motivation. It's how you see the very idea of progress. What she calls your mindset. There are two main mindsets. 1. The fixed mindset, the prison of a locked identity. I'm just like this. I'm terrible at math. I'm not a people person. I'm not creative. I'm just not the risk-taking type. If you believe your skills, intelligence, or personality are fixed, then every failure feels like a threat. Because in this logic, to fail is to prove you're limited. What happens? You avoid challenges. You give up quickly. You live in fear of being exposed. The fixed mindset pushes you to protect your ego rather than build your potential. 2. The growth mindset identity is a work in progress. I'm not good at this yet. I'm learning. I didn't get it this time, but I know what to improve. With this mindset, your abilities aren't fixed. They're flexible, moldable, and evolving. Every struggle becomes an opportunity to grow, not a judgment on your worth. Carol Dweck says it best. True potential isn't who you are today, but who you can become with effort, strategy, and persistence. Real experiment. Turning a child into a champion in a famous study with elementary school kids, Dweck divided them into two groups. One group was praised with phrases like, "You're so smart." The other group heard, "You worked really hard. You kept going. You tried a new strategy." Then kids were given hard tasks. What happened? The kids praised for their intelligence gave up quickly. The kids praised for effort and process kept going, even when it got tough. Why? Because the first group tied their value to results. The second learned to love the process, not just the outcome. What's your inner voice saying? When you fail, what do you say to yourself? I'm just no good. I'm not cut out for this. This isn't me. Or do you say, I'll figure out what went wrong. This is a skill to build. I'm learning here. What you tell yourself in those moments decides whether you stay trapped by who you are now or open yourself up to who you could become. Growth mindset and evolving identity. The growth mindset isn't just a learning strategy. It's a way to manage your identity. Saying, I'm just not a public speaker, locks you into who you are. But saying, I am not comfortable speaking in public yet, but I'm becoming someone who is, starts a powerful inner shift. That's where real reinvention happens. That's how you break free from the toxic myth of just be yourself. Practical steps, how to live a growth mindset every day. Try these 3 powerful habits. Add yet to your vocabulary. Don't say I can't do this. Say I can't do this yet. Praise your effort, not just results. After a setback, ask, what did I learn, instead of why did I fail again? Seek out challenges regularly. Your brain grows through friction and adaptation. The more you avoid discomfort, the deeper you stay stuck in fixed thinking. To sum it up, you're not a fixed type of person. You're a dynamic, evolving system. The growth mindset isn't just a nice idea. It's a radical shift in how you define yourself. I'm just like this isn't truth. It's a story you can stop telling yourself, starting today. Instead, choose to say, I'm someone who learns. I'm someone who builds. I'm someone who grows. Part 4. The Authenticity Paradox. Herminia Ibarra's insight. We've all heard it. Just be yourself. It sounds noble. It feels right. It's celebrated everywhere. But here's the twist. Sometimes sticking too rigidly to who you are right now is exactly what keeps you stuck. It stops you from growing into the person you want to become. This is the core idea behind Herminia Ibarra's groundbreaking work, The Authenticity Paradox. Ibarra, a professor at London Business School, studied thousands of leaders, entrepreneurs, and professionals going through career changes and personal transformations, and she found a surprising pattern. The heart of the matter. Whenever people start moving toward a new role or identity, something uncomfortable happens. They feel a disconnect. They think things like, this doesn't feel like me. I don't recognize myself in this new role. I feel fake. Ibarra calls this feeling the identity transition shock, the invisible trap, confusing authenticity with loyalty to the past. When you say, I don't want to be fake, what you usually mean is, I don't want to change who I've always been. But real growth always involves a phase of discomfort, A time when you have to do things not good at yet. When your habits and instincts aren't aligned with a new version of yourself. And here lies the paradox. To become authentic in a new role, you first have to be willing to feel a little inauthentic. Imagine a highly skilled employee gets promoted to manager. Suddenly, they have to delegate tasks. They need to speak confidently in front of teams. They must make tough calls, sometimes unpopular decisions. At first, it feels all wrong. They think, this isn't me. I'm more of a behind-the-scenes person. I like working alone. But soon, they realize an uncomfortable truth. If I want to grow, I have to break free from the self-image I've been holding on to. I've asked 3 practical strategies to navigate this transition act before you feel ready. Don't wait for the perfect identity to show up. You build it by doing. Experiment with new roles without feeling trapped. Trying different ways of being isn't betrayal, it's exploration. It helps you discover a deeper, more flexible authenticity. Observe and learn from those who already embody what you want to become. This isn't copying, it's identity adaptation. You pick up behaviors, try them on, adjust until it feels genuine. What true authenticity really means, it's not about clinging to the you of today. It's about staying true to your core values while being flexible about how you show up in the world. In other words, you can change your outfit as much as you want, as long as the story you're telling aligns with your deeper purpose. Part 5, the possible selves theory. Marcus Aurelius, you're not a fixed being. You're a collection of possible versions of yourself. That is the core insight from Hazel Marcus and Paul Aurelius' theory of possible selves, developed in the late 1980s. And this idea is powerful because it can literally change the course of your life. Breaking it down, you don't have just one you inside. You have your current self, your ideal self, the person you want to become, your feared self, the version you want to avoid, your social self, professional self, intimate self. All of these combine into a dynamic identity system. The key discovery, Marcus Aurelius found that your current behavior is largely shaped by how clearly you can picture your future self. You move closer or further away from that possible self based on how vivid and clear your vision of it is. A simple example, imagine 2 scenarios. You don't believe you can be a leader. You tell yourself, I'm too quiet, leadership isn't for me. Gives you avoid speaking up, gives you refuse responsibilities, gives you reinforce your current identity. You picture a version of yourself 2 years from now, confident, organized, inspiring. Gives you change what you read, gives you practice public speaking, gives you start taking small risks. Bit by bit, you become that possible self. Marcus Aurelius put it simply, identity isn't just who you are now, it's who you can imagine becoming. Why this matters? Because it puts you in the driver's seat. You're no longer stuck in your current self. You're in a constant conversation with your future self, and that conversation gives you life instructions. Your future self becomes your personal GPS. How to activate your possible selves. Here are 3 concrete steps to bring them into your life. 1. Build a clear vision. Ask yourself, who do I want to be in 3 years? How do I talk, think, live my days? What am I doing now that I wasn't doing before? Write this vision down like a letter from your future self. 2. Make it visible. Put a photo or image representing that future self somewhere you'll see often. Write a future me note and stick it on your wall. Record yourself describing your ideal life. The more you visualize it, the more your brain will make it familiar and real. 3. Take small, consistent actions every day. Ask yourself, what would my future self do right now? Start aligning your choices with the identity you want to build, not the one you've been carrying for years. Part 6. Authenticity is a process, not a statue. Authenticity is not a snapshot. It's not a frozen moment or a fixed image of who you are right now. Authenticity is a moving film, a dynamic, evolving story. What does that mean? When most people think of being authentic or true to themselves, they imagine staying exactly as they are, no matter what. But here's the catch. If authenticity means staying frozen as who I am today, then it becomes a trap. It becomes a cage holding you back from growth. Real authenticity is about being true to your inner growth, your evolving self. This means you don't have to be yourself all the time. You have to be aligned with who you want to become. It's less about preserving your current identity and more about honoring your journey forward. Let me explain with a metaphor. Think about a river. Is a river authentic because it looks exactly the same every day? No. The river is authentic because it flows, it changes course, it adapts, all while remaining true to its essence. You are like that river. Your authenticity is not about freezing your current identity into stone. It's about moving forward, growing, adapting, while staying true to your core values and your real feelings. This means sometimes you'll have to. 1. Act before you believe it fully. You don't have to wait until you feel confident, courageous, or disciplined to start acting like it. Start by doing the things that your future self would do. Fake it till you become it. This is the secret many successful people use. They don't wait for the perfect moment or feeling. They act, and through action, their identity shifts. 2. Step out of your comfort zone and your usual patterns. Growth happens when you challenge your habits, your routines, your safe zones. That might mean saying no to old behaviors that don't serve you, trying new ways of thinking, speaking, or behaving, being okay with discomfort and uncertainty, because your authentic self is the evolving self, not the comfortable, familiar self. 3. Say no to your automatic impulses. Have you noticed how much of your day runs on autopilot? Reacting without thinking, following old scripts, doing things because that's just how I am. Being authentic means pausing those automatic patterns and choosing consciously. It means not letting your fears or doubts dictate your actions, making deliberate choices aligned with your growth. Let me share a story about a friend, David. David always thought he was shy and awkward. That was his identity, his authentic self. But deep down, he wanted to be confident and socially comfortable. At first, David felt like an imposter every time he tried to speak up. He felt fake and out of place. But instead of giving up, he told himself, I don't have to feel confident now. I just have to act as if I am. He started attending meetups, joining conversations, and even giving small talks. Over months, David's fake it till you make it became real. His identity shifted, and he discovered a new, more authentic version of himself. Authenticity isn't a statue to be carved and displayed. It's a river to be navigated and experienced. It's a process, sometimes messy, sometimes uncomfortable, always rewarding. Quick challenge for you. Today, pick one small action that feels just outside your comfort zone. Speak up when you usually stay silent. Say no to a habit you want to change. Try something new without waiting to feel ready. Then reflect. How did it feel to act before believing? What did I learn about myself? Part 7 to 4 practical tools to break free from the authenticity trap. 1. The future self to journal every morning or evening. Spend 5 minutes writing as if you were yourself 5 years from now. Start with, I'm so proud of having, and describe your daily habits, the choices you make, your mindset, how you react to challenges, the goals you've achieved. Why does this work? Because your brain begins to sync with that vision of yourself. You'll start making decisions that align with that future version, unlocking your real potential. 2. Decode your limiting beliefs. Make a list of negative things you often tell yourself, like, I'm messy, I'm bad at communicating, I'm not persistent, I'm not made for long-term relationships. Then ask yourself, is this really me or just a mental habit I've repeated so often that I started to believe it? Swap these phrases for empowering ones, such as, I'm developing my ability to, I'm learning to become someone who. This shift takes you from a fixed self to a growing, evolving self. 3. The 30-day experiment. Pick one quality you want to embody. Discipline, courage, assertiveness, energy. Calmness, then, every day for 30 days. Ask yourself, how would this version of me handle today? And play that role. You're not faking it, you're exploring, experimenting, and aligning with your future self, not your past. 4. The temporary role strategy. Want others to see you differently? More charismatic? More organized? Less passive? Choose an inspiring role model and ask yourself, what would this person do if they were in my shoes? Then imitate, adapt, and make it your own. This doesn't make you fake, it makes you someone who's growing and evolving. If you're still watching, it means you're feeling that pull, that tension between who you are today and who you could become. And that's a good thing. So don't get stuck in the image you've been showing the world. Don't stay loyal to your limits. Be loyal to your ambition. Subscribe if you want to go further. But most importantly, start now, not tomorrow, not when you feel ready. Right now. Because you're not done yet, you're a work in progress. And that's where your real power begins. If this video resonated with you, please do me a favor. Hit the like button to help more people who need this message find it. Drop a comment below telling me what stood out to you or which part challenged you the most. And most importantly, share this video with a friend, colleague, or anyone in your life who could benefit from hearing this. Subscribe now and turn on notifications to join a growing community committed to real transformation, not just surface changes. We're in this journey together toward becoming your best self. Ready to take the next step? Then hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video.